Hey guys, my name is Michael, and if you love movies as much as I do, I'd very much appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this, like the video, and if you have an opinion about what's the best or worst movies of the year, or if I'm a genius or an idiot, leave your comment below. Alright, we're going to do the second half, so these are my top 22 films of the first half of the year. At number 22 is The Drama. A24 doesn't always land on my wavelength. They often have good concepts, but they kind of have this way of making things just weird, for weird's sake. You got Zendaya, Robert Pattinson. They're a couple, they're in love, they're getting ready to get married. The Drama, the name of the film, the concept is that not long before they're getting married, they're kind of at like a dinner party, and a revelation comes out about one of them that makes them recontextualize the whole relationship. And I did definitely enjoy this. I just didn't love it as much as maybe some other people. And it did end pretty well, though. It did end on a hopeful note, so I will give them that. I probably need to give this one a rewatch because it might even jump up a little bit. The Drama, I would say check it out. It's on streaming now. I want to say HBO Max. Definitely give this one a watch. We're going to go with number 21 now. Toy Story 5. Nothing wrong with this movie, really. There's just a few reasons for me ranking it here. Number one, I'm not a big animated film guy in general. I don't watch a ton of anime or things like that. It's just not really my thing. Number two, I watched the original. I was probably like 13 when it came out. I think the original came out in 96. So I was somewhere 11, 12, 13 years old when that came out. And the second and third ones I didn't watch for a while after that, because by then I was an adult and I was even less into animated films. And even though it's really good, I don't know that it needs to exist. But there is some good themes in here. There's some good messages. It's clean. I felt like it's family friendly. Not everything that's animated anymore that should be family is. You know, definitely monitor the things you watch if you're a parent, for sure. But it's fun, and I'd say, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it was pretty good. Go and check it out. It's worth a watch. All right, then we're gonna come down to number 20, Undertone. Another A24 film. Undertone is one that I actually had ranked much lower and then moved it up because a friend of mine was watching it recently, and I got to catch part of it again. I'd ranked it low because, you know, with me, it's a lot on beginnings and endings more than anything else, and pacing and things like that. Well, the end of this movie gets into some disturbing things. The concept here, a young woman moves in with her mother who's ill, and she does a podcast with a guy who's a friend of hers who lives in like a different state. And he's a believer in paranormal, supernatural things, and she's not, and that's the whole podcast. They get access to some new files that were sent to them. It's like one of those, don't listen to it. And of course they do, and then things begin to happen. It felt original enough in the way that it was presenting the story that I think elevates it. It has great sound design. If you can't see it in the theater, then watch it either in surround sound or watch it with headphones on so you can hear all the things, because the sound design is great. I guess I get tired of horror films that just crescendo into either The Devil Did It, which is such a cop-out, or it just comes off the rails in just a moment at the end. And I don't mind the slow burn, but I guess I get a little bit burned out on that concept. So that's why that's there. At number 19, we have We Bury the Dead. This is Daisy Ridley, is that the correct name? She played Rey on the 3 new Star Wars films. And basically, it's in, oh gosh, I'm gonna mess up the island. I wanna say it's like Tasmania or Sri Lanka. It's an island. And there was some sort of event that happened, and everybody either like went to sleep or became a zombie, and it was just this event. I'm now messing up a little of the details, but it's something like that. And there's crews that are going back and are cleaning up the country and her burying the dead, because a lot of people died, right? And so she goes back, she's looking for her husband. It is a slow burn, and I remember not being totally satisfied with the ending of it, but it was a unique journey, and there's a lot of mystery and intrigue of what's going to be happening next, and what's going on. And I felt like her performance was really good, so I did enjoy this film. Number 18 is Slanted. I was blessed to be living in St. Louis and then spending a lot of time in Winston-Salem, North Carolina this year. And I had access to theaters who showed lots of different independent films. I went to an AMC Screen Unseen on a Monday when I was in North Carolina, and I got to see this Slanted movie, which I was very pleasantly surprised for, because I think like the first 3 times I went to one of these mystery movies, I actually walked out. I just didn't like them at all. This is basically a Chinese girl. Her parents moved to the States for a new life. Her dad's working at a school. When she was a little kid, she goes in and sees the prom, and she just sees them, people having fun and being included, and she feels that this is the world she wants to live in. This is the life she wants to live. And so she she gets that idea in her head, and it flashes forward when she's in high school and she feels like kind of an outcast, and she stumbles across this company that essentially will help you fit in, and it basically changes like your race. So some people will find this too on the nose, the messaging here, but I think at the end of the day, it's teaching you to love yourself and love where you're from and who you are. And I thought it was a unique story, and I had a good time with it. I've only watched it the one time, but obviously I liked it quite a bit because I have it ranked in my top half of this ranking. Number 17 is one people will have ranked much higher, but it's Project Hail Mary. I am not a huge sci-fi guy. That's one of the reasons that it's ranked here. I also felt like it was a little too goofy, but it did have some really good imagery. It did have some good suspense and some good laughs. I didn't love the ending either, some of the choices made there, but it is a fun movie. I saw it in IMAX, so that was cool. That was in North Carolina as well. I saw a lot of movies in North Carolina, but it was it's a fun time. Number 16, They Will Kill You. There's been a lot of Satanists trying to kill people movies lately. This is another Satanist trying to kill people movie. It's a girl who becomes a new maid at a hotel that should very obviously be known as Satanist, because there's like a giant pentagram right on the top of it. But she gets in there, and we find out it's because she's looking for a missing person. I think it's like her sister or something. And so all the Satanists are trying to kill her. And it's a very, I don't really know how to describe it, Kill Bill, or it's just a bonkers kind of, not really Kill Bill, because that's like artsy too. This is more like just bonkers action. It's unique and fun. And if you love these kinds of action concepts and with some horror elements thrown in there, you'll probably love this movie. I had fun with it. Number 15, Michael. I'm not the biggest biopic person ever as far as these music biopics, but we have a splintered culture now. We used to have like a monoculture where everybody, I'm not saying you loved Michael Jackson, but he was essentially like Elvis was everyone's pop star, right? Like in the 50s, and in the 60s, it was, that the Beatles, but in the 80s, let's just jump forward to that. Since we're talking about Michael Jackson. It is basically, he was the most popular thing. And so this film, you got some great performances. Michael Jackson's nephew plays him, and Coleman Domingo plays Joe Jackson, Michael's father. And it essentially starts out in the early 70s when he's like 8, and it goes up into right around the Thriller time. It does have a little bit of an epilogue when he releases Bad, but it's essentially that period of time. It doesn't get into a lot of the stuff later, but it did make $1 billion, so I'm sure there'll be a sequel, which will get into other parts of his life too. You're going to be tapping your foot. You're going to be having a good time with the music. I'm just not a huge music biopic person, so that's probably doesn't rank any higher than me, but I still very much enjoyed it. That's why it's number 15. Number 14, this is not a test. This is a Shudder original that I saw at the Marcus Ronnie's Theater in Lindbergh in St. Louis. And I love that theater. I had to plug them. It's like my favorite theater. But the concept is basically a zombie apocalypse, and these kids who are in high school all end up going, they escape their neighborhood and they go back to their high school because it's someplace they can reinforce and they can stay. And so you end up with this kind of drama of what's going on in the outside world and what's going on in here. It's got a little bit of Walking Dead vibes, a little bit of teen drama vibes, but I was really pleasantly surprised. Isn't it so fun when a movie can actually surprise you? And that anymore, hardly ever does a movie surprise me. Usually they surprise me in a bad way and it ends up being disappointing. But this one was one I was not expecting to be that good, and I really enjoyed it. Number 13, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. The follow-up to Danny Boyle's long anticipated sequel to 28 Weeks Later, which should have been 28 months, ended up being 28 years. That movie was kind of like two different films. The first film was kind of a straight up kind of zombie action type thing, which is what I wanted, and then it kind of became this whole commenting on life and death, and got pretty artsy near the end. I didn't care for, and then had some strange ending. But this new one leans more so into the character drama. It's much more like Walking Dead in the sense that there's a lot of character moments focusing on what the characters are doing, and the zombies and things for the most part are in the background, except for some scientific experimentation and things going on with the alpha characters in there. But it was very well made. Some people might even have this ranked much higher if they're big horror fans. I thought it was a very interesting movie, and I really hope they make the third one because it sets things up, tying the earlier films together, that I think would be awesome if they do it, and I really hope they do. Number 12, Over Your Dead Body. Samara Weaving, Jason Segel. They are a married couple that are going for a weekend away at their cabin, and they both are secretly planning to murder each other. Hence why it's called, Over Your Dead Body. Haha. So it is action, it's comedy, dark comedy, and then you get another couple of famous people you'll recognize who come into the mix later and get involved in the whole story. It was a lot of fun, and it amazes me how many good movies bomb at the box office anymore. I guess it just shows that honestly not as many people go to the movies anymore, because this is a good film, and it amazes me that it didn't do better because it was a lot of fun. Check it out on streaming for sure. You will not regret it. It's a fun time. 11, Solo Mio. I am a sucker for a good romantic comedy. I just have a heart, and who doesn't love love, right? And a lot of people out there are probably like, we don't love it. Well, I do. And I want things in life to work out well. And so this was a very interesting concept. I like Kevin James. I don't like a lot of his movies, but I like him. Basically, he's going on his honeymoon. They're going to Italy. Literally, they go to get married. She leaves him at the altar with like a letter, disappears, and he's already paid for this entire trip, and it's non-refundable. So he decides to go on a honeymoon by himself and just do all the things. And there's a lot more that comes into it. It ends up being very sweet and just happy ending. And sometimes in a world where there's war and a whole lot of shit going on, sometimes it's just nice for there to be a happy ending. And it was funny too. So I liked it. Number 11, Solo Mio. Number 10, this is probably also going to be quite controversial, Scream 7. I am a very big horror fan. Anybody who knows me personally, or if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, and I'm a huge Scream fan. It's my second favorite horror franchise. My 4 favorite horror franchises are Halloween, Scream, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street, just in case you wanted to know. And I love seeing Neve Campbell back. We are in the future, and Neve Campbell is now married to the man from Scream 3, and they're living in Indiana. She has a daughter, and of course, Ghostface things happen. There's a great chase sequence at the end of Act 1. The opening was cool. It had an actress from a show that I love in it, which I thought was great. It has another couple of really cool sequences in it. I did not like the killer reveal. I did not like the motivation. It was the poorest in the series. But I'm just a big fan of this series. I don't think there's a single bad movie, and I don't think this one was either. And Neve Campbell's performance is great, on top of some other things that were in there. I liked it. Number 9, Masters of the Universe. It's sad to me that this movie bombed. I'm hoping that on Amazon Prime it just does gangbusters and it can get a sequel, because I've heard every opinion under the sun with it. For me, I was a little too young to be in the height of the He-Man fame. I do remember it. I had the toys, but I don't really remember seeing the cartoon. I must have been a little too young. But I thought the movie had a good origin story. I thought it was funny. I thought it had good action. I just thought this movie was fun. Sometimes it's okay for a movie to just be fun. It was not too stupid either. Oftentimes I think anymore people try to make movies a little too stupid to be fun. But I dug it. I felt like it worked. And even the character of Skeletor, I thought Jared Leto did a great job. And that's how Skeletor was in the cartoons. He was zany. So it worked. Number 8, Mercy. It's another one that people probably have ranked a lot lower. I thought it was great. I'm a big fan of Chris Pratt. I'm a big fan of Rebecca Ferguson. The concept of the movie is that in the future, they're using advanced AI in a criminal system to basically sit you down, and they're judge, jury, and executioner, and you have a certain amount of time to prove that you're innocent or you can be executed. And so a lot of the movie takes place, not all of it, but a lot of it takes place in kind of one location. Rebecca Ferguson is the AI. Chris Pratt's the person who's being accused of something. And it was a straightforward movie, action-packed. It was paced very well. It just moves really well, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. A tight 90 minutes, a lot of fun. Man, I liked it a lot. Number 7, Mortal Kombat 2. The first movie wasn't bad, but Mortal Kombat from 2021 is basically all set up, backstory. A lot of it was about a character we don't even know that's not from the games. This is a movie, this is what we wanted. It's got the tournament, Johnny Cage, the different characters involved. You get fights, you get action, you get comedy. Everything in this movie, for the most part, worked for me. And I think I saw it twice. I very much enjoyed it. And it's already on streaming. I believe it is on HBO Max. And I would go and check this movie out. Number 6. This is one I saw. There was a, what do they call it? Marcus mystery movie. This is at the Marcus Theaters. And I went and spoke to the guy at the box office, and he basically said he thought this is the movie that was going to be showing. And I'd been burned 3 times, and I said, you know what? I've heard really good things about this from Sean Chandler and Cody Leach last year about how good this movie was. It's called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Gore Verbinski. A lot of times his movies don't land with me. I think he's the guy that did Cure for Wellness, which is a strange film. But this movie is basically, you have at the beginning, it's just the beginning of this movie is so funny and good. Sam Rockwell shows up, scraggly facial hair, crazy outfit, just looking like he took plastic bags and random things he found in a dumpster and taped it to himself. And he shows up at this diner in Los Angeles. I'm from the future, I'm here to save us. He goes through this whole spiel, and you find out the future has gone wrong. He keeps coming back to the past to try to fix what's going on in the future. It has a lot of commentary about technology and how much we use phones and how it's making us disconnected and making us zombies. And it's zany, it's funny, it's got something to say, but it's not so much on the nose, more so than it is entertaining you. It's okay to have a message, but you don't need to make it so much on the nose all the time, Hollywood. We're at the movies to be entertained, not to be preached at. This movie comes to entertain first and to teach later, and that's okay. Really cool flick. Number 5, Reminders of Him. It's a book based on a book that was done by, I don't know, one of those people, Nicholas Sparks, I think, or somebody. It's got the guy who was the lead in Him, the movie from last year. And then Micah Monroe, I believe, she's in a lot of movies recently. Essentially, it's the main female lead. Her boyfriend or fiance had been killed in a crash. They blame her, so she went to prison. She comes back out. She hasn't seen her son in years. But his best friend, who was a NFL hopeful, has moved back, owns a business, and is in his life. And it's her fighting to rebuild her life and be a part of her son's life, and all that dynamic of it's a definitely not a romantic comedy. It's a drama, romance drama. I thought it was an excellent movie. I felt like it hit all the right beats as far as being realistic, but also giving us a good payoff that, you know, we want to see. We don't go to movies to just be depressed. We go to movies to be moved in some way, and it did that for me. Number 4, Send Help. I've always been a big Sam Raimi fan. Some of you might know him For the Love of the Game or Spider-Man. I grew up with Army of Darkness. He did the first 2 Evil Dead films. This movie was such a return to form. Rachel McAdams plays such a great character. Dylan O'Brien plays a great character. It's ends up being a very unique thriller involving people in a business situation and then a desert island. And I don't want to give too much away, but this is such an awesome movie. I already bought it on 4K, if that tells you anything. Number 3, Pressure. Just received my Blu-ray of this, not 4K. I don't guess they released it on that, but I got a Blu-ray and I just watched it again. What an excellent movie. You have Brendan Fraser as Dwight D. Eisenhower. You have, I don't know his name, but he plays a British weatherman. And essentially this is about the men who would predict the weather of the volatile English Channel North Sea to try to land the exact time and date that they would invade and launch D-Day, the largest seaborne invasion in the history of the world. The scope of it is epic. The acting is excellent. There's a ticking clock. It all matters. And it is so good that you would never think a movie about weather could be this good. But wow, the performances are amazing. Everything about the movie is just top notch. Focus Features is knocking it out of the park this year. Because number 2 is also a Focus Features film, Obsession. I have never seen a movie 4 times in the movie theater until this. I took 4 different friends on 4 different occasions to see this movie. I had heard last year from some people on YouTube, it probably was Cody and Sean again, about this movie. They thought it was going to be huge. They thought it was excellent. I was just blown away by, I love simple concept, excellent execution. It's a very simple, obsessive ideas and leading to making a decision that then takes away a person's ability to make their own decisions, and the selfishness involved in that, and the performances across the board are great. Everybody is talking about Indy Navarrete, rightfully so. Yeah, just don't listen to any of the hype, positive or negative. Just watch the damn movie for yourself, and I personally think you'd love it. I mean, at least 80% of you have got to, because it really is, to me, that good. And coming in at number 1, Power Ballad. Power Ballad is a movie that has been completely overlooked, and it is absolutely driving me crazy. I cannot believe people have not found this movie. It's Paul Rudd, it's Nick Jonas. Nick Jonas is a very famous musician, right? And he's been in several movies now. Paul Rudd, obviously, is a very well-known actor. Ant-Man and many other things. And I just felt like this story captured everything I want to see in a movie. It is moving, compelling. It is funny in parts. It is dramatic. It has wonderful music, original music that is actually good. The concept is that Paul Rudd was a musician that was traveling the world, fell in love with a gal in a different country, stayed there, and then instead of being the Mr. Big Bad musician, he just becomes kind of a dad who does weddings and things because he wants to be around his family and sacrifices that for his family. He goes to a wedding. He meets a down and out Nick Jonas's character, whatever the guy's name was at the time, Danny something, I think. And they're messing around. He shows him this thing that he wrote, and then the guy ends up stealing it. And it becomes this worldwide sensation. So it's all about him trying to say, hey, this was my song. And there's a lot of different things going on in that dynamic too that happens. But it's such a compelling story. My mom and my best friend and I went to see it, and it just moved us so much. Had us all in tears, had us talking about it afterwards. I even got my friend to learn the song so we could sing it because it's so catchy. How to Write a Song Without You. Man. So that comes in at number 1. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end, kudos on watching a 30-minute video of me talking about movies. But you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Keep watching movies.